A person can make a choice, but he can't choose the consequence. I really believe that God let me out of prison to do my very best to restore the humanity in people, in society as a whole.
I spend a lot of time talking about post-traumatic stress disorder. It's totally cliche, but it's a gift and a curse. It's fiery, it's red, it's orange, it's angry, and it just comes out.
The foster mother, she wasn't that nice. She didn't even greet me. You know, she was just like, all right, your room's over there. And so I went to the room, and that's when it hit me. I put my bags down, and I just started crying uncontrollably because it finally hit me that I wasn't going home. I didn't have confidence growing up. You know, I didn't have no confidence. I was like a turtle, man. Anytime any type of pressure would come up, I would just fall back because I didn't know how to deal with it. I don't mind sharing it now because I'm more confident and, you know, as a believer, you know, I believe in God, so I believe that my testimony will help somebody.
I like to say I don't have bad days, but I do, right? Because I can push through.
I used heroin, IV user. You get this wonderful feeling like everybody's looking at you, you're the man. That's kind of what heroin did for me, and I chased that. Never got that feeling again, but that's what I chase. My recovery's always first, you know, and I love it. I actually love it. It's freeing. People get knocked down all the time. It's just about getting up.
A lot of LGBTQ media was formed after the 1969 Stonewall riots, in which drag queens took to the streets and beat up cops, and a lot of those magazines and newspapers were based on activism and advocacy. But our post-marriage equality society, I think that there is a huge narrative that needs to be brought out in people, and a lot of people don't necessarily feel comfortable with the idea of being an activist or advocating for any, say, political candidate or policy position, but they still have a story to tell. And so our goal is to connect people through the timeless art of storytelling.
The key to a politician is that you come to serve others as a representative of the group. My rights end where your rights begin. We need to understand that.
When words are like communicated in a very thoughtful way, in a genuine way, not even thoughtful, just when it's genuine. Like you get to get the essence of what a person is really about. And so growing up, I didn't really understand what it meant to be an Indian because I didn't really define it like that. My parents didn't even really define it. You know, they were just being who they were.
That's a big lie. People don't make progress without help from other people. And I got a lot of help. Every little success I had a beneficiary somewhere in the wings.
I want to instill in my kids positivity. Number one, you know, being positive. What you put out there comes back to you. So if you need to take a chance, just take it and be positive about it.
Find the process, start it, and don't quit.
Recovery, they say it's an inside job. It's got to come from within.
I think we should question everything, and including ourselves, especially those things we think we know.
So it wasn't really courage that drove me, it was identification with their plight that got me to do that. And of course there were consequences to that. There were penalties to pay. And before long I said, well, that's the price.
How can you ask to receive when you don't give? And when you live in societies and you see societies, just by looking left and right, how many people have died to have the right to vote or to have the right to freedom and equality?
They were taken to Auschwitz. Any child which was below 9 years old was immediately killed. If you could not work, you were killed. So that was the way. You were too old or too young, that was the situation. War doesn't end immediately. It took 70 years.
No, I can't take away anything that I've been through because I wouldn't be who I am today, you know.
I'm a person that went through an ordeal, and within that ordeal, it helped me regain my humanity.
Just so you know, sometimes you don't even need to say words, like your eyes can communicate a lot, and I've definitely have experienced like this direct sense of hate. And it kind of hurts, but at the same time, it's like I know that it's not just hate, it's like fear.
I don't have any hate. Hate eats you up. It only hurts you.
We spent the day with Eleanor Roosevelt. She had lots of discussion. I asked her a question. I said, what would you say we whites in the South should be doing? And she said, do more. She got behind me and encouraged me, so I had marching orders from Eleanor Roosevelt.
What does it say about me that I'm acknowledging the fact that there's a little monster inside of me, that little voice in your head? It can be an angel and it can be a demon.
Don't be afraid to fail. Oh, I failed countless times, over and over and over again. Still failing, but I don't see it as failure, right? I call it winning in reverse.
There's a saying in the recovery world, love them till they can love themselves, you know, and that's important.
It's a cultural thing for me. It's not a religious thing, it's a cultural thing. I'm very familiar with the Old Testament and the Bible. It says, I don't want your prayer. Be right with the orphan and the widow and the poor. Do right with them. That's what for me it is. Justice, justice you will pursue, nothing else.
My dream would be to see a teacher worth at least as much as a Wall Street broker.
Because it should not be whether it's your home or your zip code that determines your success.
All of the practices emphasize that you have this one life to understand yourself, and within that experience of trying to understand yourself, you should try to do the least amount of harm to anything else around you or within you.
Laugh hard, run fast, and be kind. Because if you just do those three things, you can't go wrong. The idea that you can be defined by a single action. We are the sum of our parts. We have made many poor choices, and we have learned from them. That's called life.